I believe was it Blizz that just gave the absolutely insufficient summary of last week's episode?
No, that was Lep.
Oh, that was Lep. Okay. Um,
Sorry,
Cover the
Blizz.
major
I
points.
didn't think it was insufficient.
it was just grossly under exaggerated. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Sandpoint Cathedral, easily the largest building in Sandpoint. This impressive cathedral is also the town's newest structure. Built over the foundations of the previous chapel, Sandpoint Cathedral is not dedicated to the worship of any single deity. Rather, it gathers under its eaves the six most commonly worshipped deities in the region: Abadar, Desnia, Iristil, Gazra, Sarenrae, and Shalin. The building provides chapels for all of these deities in its communal forum. In a way, Sandpoint Cathedral is six different churches under one impressive roof. Yet even the previous chapel wasn't the first holy site in this location. The core of both the original chapel and the new cathedral is an open-air courtyard surrounding a set of 7 standing stones. Shion, I had described this to you earlier, which themselves surround a circular stone altar. These stone served the Varisians for centuries as a place of worship, although they generally venerated Desnia and various imperial lords at the stones. The stones themselves have a much older tradition. And I won't read you that next part. Message? Maybe? Oh. Yeah, well, hold on. I think I can copy paste them. Hold on. Yeah. Those are the deities. So the original chapel built here was a collection of 6 different shrines, each with its own building and connected to the others by an open-air walkways. Desnia's worship was incorporated into these shrines as part of the peace accord with the local Varisians, but the original builders included 5 other deities as well. 4 of these, Abadar, Gozra, Sarenway, and Shalin, were patrons of the original founders of Sandpoint Mercantile Consortium, while the 5th, Aristeel, was the most popular among the initial settlers. When the chapel burnt to the ground several years ago, Mayor Deverin set into motion a bold initiative. Not only would the chapel be rebuilt, but it would be rebuilt on a grand scale. A cathedral would be constructed in the place of the chapel, and it would be made of stone and glass. Funding for this project came partially from the founding families, partially from Sandpoint businesses eager to earn favor in the eyes of the gods, and partially from the respective churches. It took years to finish the cathedral, but the end result is truly impressive. To the south, facing Sandpoint's heart, are the shrines of the civilization, Aristeel and Abadar. To the west, offering a view of the Old Light and the sea beyond, are the shrines of Shalin and Gozra, or Gozray? I don't know how to pronounce that one. And to the east, offering a view of Sandpoint Boneyard, the rising sun, and the shrines of Sarenrae and Desnia. The previous chapel hosted fewer than a dozen acolytes, led by a well-loved cleric named Ezekiel Tobin, who sadly perished in the fire that claimed the church. The new high priest of Sandpoint is his most accomplished student, a pleasant man named Abstelar Xanis, who is a cleric of Desnia. He is very open about the matters of faith and has slipped into the new role of advisor for worship of the other gods in Sandpoint with ease. Set in the shadow of the Sandpoint Cathedral, and accessible via a gate to the north, or from several doors leading into the cathedral itself. This is for the Sandpoint Boneyard. Excuse me. The expansive cemetery overlooks the Turandurokar. I'll put it in chat. We've talked about it before.
Terandagokar.
Yeah, Turandarakar.
Randarok?
Yeah,
Tarandarock.
Tarandarock. Yeah, sure. Stone vaults owned by affluent members of the town stand near the cemetery's edge or at its center, while dozens of humble plots, each marked with a simple gravestone, sit amid the trees and shrubberies. The boneyard is well maintained and kept by a man named, you don't know yet, a deformed. Okay, so I'm gonna skip
It's an
that.
interesting name.
It's a very distinguished name.
Yep, you don't know yet. Exactly. Sir, you don't know yet to you. Do you have
That's
noticed that the
Professor,
bone
sir.
Right, exactly. You have noticed that the boneyard does is meticulously cleaned and looks fantastic. I will the white deer. A pair of wooden life-size deer carved into painstaking care from the white birch stand astride the entrance to this sizable tavern and inn. This is one of the inns that you have, I'm sure seen but not been to yet, which commands an impressive view of the Varisian Gulf in the north. The building is new, recently rebuilt after the previous inn at its location burnt to the ground several years ago in the same fire that destroyed the Sandpoint Chapel. The new White Deer is a grand affair, 3 stories tall, with a stone first floor and wooden upper floors, with a dozen large rooms that accommodate 2 to 3 guests each. A somber and quite jaunty man named Garadin Visalaki. Yeah, I'll put that one in chat too. Terrible it.
Garrett and Viscali.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Owns the White Deer and runs this place amid his family and a few locals. Although his parents were members of the SQ tribe, they abandoned their tries to settle in Sandpoint. Garridan regrets their choice, but his love for his wife and family keeps him rooted firmly in town. Let me see if there's one other one that I want to cover here. The sage, the sole occupant of this ancient building, is an old man named Broderick Quint. A balding scholar of Varisian history and engineer, Broderick claims to have spent 2 decades of his youth studying the dwarven engineers at Janderhof and 3 decades as a cataloger at the Founders Archive in Magnamar, and is continually baffled and enraged that his learning and obvious intelligence haven't been afforded him more prestige. Broderick has been studying ancient Thelosian runes for the past several years and has recently become obsessed with the Old Light. No one believes his theories that the tower is once a war machine capable of spewing fire to a range of more than a mile. Sandpoint Garrison. This stone fortress serves doubly as Sandpoint's militia barracks and its jail. The jail is located in an underground wing, while the above-ground portion houses the town guards. Sandpoint's town guard consists of dozens of full-time guards, about twice as many servants and other experts, smiths, cooks, bookkeepers, couriers, and the like, dwell here as well. Guards patrol the city alone. They're generally not much trouble beyond the odd drunk for them to handle. So usually only 3 or 4 of them are on duty at any one time. That number is probably closer to 10 for you guys. Sandpoint has also maintained a militia of able-bodied men and women who are expected to attend training and exercise at least once a week. This militia, okay. The garrison is currently under the watchful eye of Sheriff Belor Hemlock, another Shoanti, who inherited the post of sheriff when the previous holder, Casp Everton, was murdered by the Chopper. You learned about him last week. Beller saw the town through the last terrible night and is generally held to be the man who stopped the Chopper's rampage. In the emergency election that followed a week later, the people of Sandpoint made his role official, and Beller became the first Shanti sheriff of Sandpoint. Honored and eager to live up to Casp's legacy, Beller changed his last name from... Oh, look at that. So maybe he's somehow related to the guy who has the... It's the Viscali? How do you... that last name that I put... the name that begins with a V? How do you think that's pronounced?
Viscali, maybe?
Viscali?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
apparently
yeah.
Balor's
Viscali.
last name used to be Viscali, and he changed it to Hemlock. Interesting. To its cellist transition, Hemlock. Okay, so it's just a translation. A choice that endeared him to Sandpoint's mostly cellist population, but hasn't sat well with his brother, Garridan. Oh, so it's Garridan's the guy, his brother. Butler's not as secret as he'd like. Romance with Kay Tesserani has put him further strain on his relationship with his family. And we covered his not so secret romance with her last week as well. The jail below the garrison is generally empty, save for a few drunks. Murderers and other hardened criminals generally stay for only a few days before being escorted to Magnamar. Before an escort from Magnamar arrives to bring them on trial in the big city. The garrison's jailer is a heavily scarred brute and a Shanti tribesman who hopes to someday earn enough money to buy back his 2 sons from Kair Magan slavers. I think that's good for now. There's a couple. I mean, I've got 30 of these to read, but I think we're good for now.
Okay.
So, does anybody have any questions, concerns, whatever from last time?
So tomorrow is the festival, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow is the festival. Yes.
Also,
We just ran back after.
Cadence said he's running a little late, but he'll be on in a few.
Okay.
So I just want to confirm for last week, the splash trait, apparently they still take the splash damage even if it doesn't hit.
I believe that's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to confirm. That's all.
Is Zaven here?
Is
Yes.
it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Good morning, Zaven.
So, it is the night before the festival. You're all gathered at the Rusty Dragon Inn. You are, I'm assuming, talking to each other about the day's events and recalling the
Yes, there's
gruesome.
an army of goblins coming.
Right. The well, first of all, let's talk about truly the most damaging thing that happened was the near death of several of the town's youth in the harbor.
Nah, they're fine. They're resilient.
Sure.
I almost
Hard
drowned
to
many
go after
times
'em.
when I was a young child. It
Yeah,
builds
we-
character.
We hear in the background some people talking about how the children don't come near the Rusty Dragon anymore.
Right.
Well, they shouldn't. It's an above age bar. Yeah,
Right.
They should stay away.
So you guys get some looks, right, from the people that are gathered there for their dinner. They're not particularly scowling necessarily, but they're slightly less warm than what you've seen previously. Do you want to? Will you be discussing the goblin camp openly?
Sure, let's totally talk about the thing where the sheriff is just like, please don't talk about this out in the open.
I'm just asking.
I think we're talking amongst ourselves, maybe.
That was
In hushed
about
tones.
his relationship with the store owner, not the goblin specifically. But I still think it's not a good idea because it might cause people to freak out.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Shouldn't they freak out? It's a
We're
bunch of
gonna talk
goblins.
about that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. We should go up to our rooms.
Random
I-
people panicking because goblins might attack is just going to make the job harder for the guards.
Yeah.
And also ruin the
Festivities.
festivities for tomorrow.
I think an army of goblins showing up on the doorsteps is gonna ruin festivities no matter what.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. We've already told them that
Danny
we're
just
pretty
kind of
sure they're
looked.
coming this.
Yeah, he
General
didn't seem
direction.
Danny
too
looked at fire
particularly
and just
concerned
like-
about it.
I don't think you should be making decisions right now.
You do notice, in the inn has a festive air about it. People seem to have already begun celebrating to a certain degree. More mead is being poured than what you've witnessed up until this point. So people, and there's a merriment. The bards are doing a better job than what they'd done previous nights. Maybe Amiko pulled out a couple extra coin to make sure that she hired some better talent. But yeah, that's where we're sitting now. Cadence said that he's a little late. He said, go ahead and start without him. So whatever. I at this point,
I assume he's just playing for the inn right now.
He
well,
got
I don't know.
super drunk yesterday, and he spent the whole time hungover in his room, so he missed the goblin fight.
Right.
And then he's still
up
kind of
there?
groggy. Yeah, he's
Right,
just
right.
he's a little tuckered out. Poor guy.
Sure. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want to do anything? Is there any? Yeah.
Well, what is our plan for the festival? Or are we just gonna
Well, I
party?
thought we were talking about maybe lining out some work, just some mercenary work, making sure it goes off as planned, right?
So you want to be a guard for the festival?
I mean, that's kind of what we were machinating. That was sort of the plan, right? Line out some work. No?
Oh,
Okay, I'll go fuck myself.
You don't want to just enjoy the festival.
I mean, yeah. I think
I have
think
a
that-
bear. I'm fine. I don't need festivals.
I think there's a fair. There's definitely a. Getting to actually, be a guard at the festival might be a little difficult to pull off. I think that for the most part, people are expected. They don't really feel like they need a guard. It's that, like I said in my descriptions, there's not a ton of. They really don't need that much security, or they don't feel like they need that much security.
Yeah, they probably already have it handled. Just enjoy the
Well, I
festival.
could be a theme park attraction again.
Yeah. No.
Wow,
Let's get
that
that.
might be.
I don't
might get
think
kicked
you'll
out
get
this
many, many customers.
Nah, this one will be fine.
I mean, if you want to make a giant major spectacle and make an ass out of yourself, sure, go ahead. But I will not be participating.
I will be
Yeah,
walking.
but we might get kicked out in association with them.
I mean, our whole group is like a circus, but
I mean,
Not
you're not wrong.
That's the spirit, Gib.
Not wrong.
If there's good news, it's that there's really no water near the chapel, so
That's okay.
there's only
We'll
so
set
much
Smokey
trouble he can
up.
get into.
We'll set a petting zoo up. It'll
Don't
be,
challenge
it'll be
him.
all right.
Petting zoo of one.
Yeah.
So you're gonna.
Who doesn't want to pet a bear? He's so cute.
You could do the giant turtle trick too. Then they'd have a petting zoo of 2.
Oh, you're right.
If
All
we
right, so-
include the dog, that makes 3.
See,
You go to sleep.
He's like, I'm done with your shit.
And everybody sleeps, well. Now, is everybody on this map? Can they see it?
yeah.
I am at the
Yeah.
chapel now.
Okay. And the lights are on, yes?
Yep.
The shadows are a little finicky, but yeah.
Still have the cone.
Okay, so you
thing.
can't. Okay, so you can. Can you
Yeah,
see?
we have
Yeah,
the cone
yeah,
of vision.
we have the cone of vision. That's
Okay, well, it is
Oh, yeah, we can-
daytime.
we can
So
see
hold-
all the way. I'm at this end. I can see all the way to this end.
Oh,
I'm
I
in the
see.
corner, so I can see everything.
So your cone, the cones are quite big as far as the vision is concerned.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes.
Christy,
It's
let me-
it's the shadows behind like the tents and stuff that
Yeah,
just
it's
look
like
a little
the
funny.
shadows.
Like
getting
100 and it's like 135-degree view.
Yeah,
Okay,
which is about what your actual vision is.
sure. Hold on for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like from here, I can barely see the edge of Gibbs' token over there. What you doing over there?
Okay. Is anybody not on this map?
Cadence.
Okay. Is anybody here not on this map?
Sorry,
Oh, my
that
bear.
was low
Where's my
hanging
bear?
fruit.
Okay, so the next morning you wake up, you head downstairs, you grab a bite to eat, and the Rusty Dragon is the emptiest that you've ever seen it. You see both, I think, Gavana and Amiko packing up a cart of goods to take to the festival. And they're kind of trying to shoo you out the door to where they can get down there. The sun has just kind of come up, and it's quite early in the morning. Um, and as they kind of broom you out the door, you can see that they've got a nice big cart that they're getting ready to take down. That's just jam packed of, various sausages and breads and a whole bunch of beer, essentially, that they're taking down to the festival. Do you want to head there, or would you like to go someplace else?
I mean, I'm just like, hey, you need help with that, and just start going with them.
Start helping
Um,
yourself.
Okay.
Cocked eyebrow as he goes.
Yeah. They tell you that they've got it under control. This is not their first, Swallowtail Festival. But they thank you and they hurry on down the street.
Well, I was a little abrupt, but all right. Guess I'll head that way too.
Okay. Are the rest of you going there or no?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going
So just down to the chapel where the festival is taking place.
Oh yeah, I'm going to the chapel.
Okay. The turnout for the opening speeches is quite respectable. The 4 keynote speakers each deliver a short but well-received welcomes to the festival. Mayor Daravin's friendly attitude and excitement prove contagious as she welcomes visitors to town and jokes about how Lars Rovanicki, the local tanner, a notorious workaholic, managed to tear himself away from the tannery to attend, much to everyone's amusement, except for Lars. Sheriff Baylor brings the crowd down a bit with his dour mood. His reminder to be safe around the evening's bonfire and his request for a moment of silence to remember those who lost their lives in the fire that claimed the town's previous church several years ago. The next speaker, you guys hear some murmuring through the crowd prior to the next speaker getting up. And then you kind of hear some people whisper the name Longiku, who I think you've heard of before. Yes or no?
Let me look.
To the spreadsheet.
I don't see it in the
No.
NPCs.
Okay. So what you would definitely hear is the last name Kajitsu, which you know as being Amiko's last name. And then you heard the first name Lonjiku.
We have a Suto, but not that guy.
Correct. Okay. But to your surprise, somebody else gets up there, even though you kind of hear his name in the crowd being whispered throughout the crowd. It is a man named Surdak Drokus. He is quite the showman. He gets up and he's walking back and forth along the dais there. Um, he uh, he delivers a not completely irrelevant recap of the long process of the town went through to finance and construct the new cathedral. He throws a bit of self-promotion in at the end, as is his wont, inviting everyone to stop by the Sandpoint Theater the following evening to check out his new production of The Harpy's Curse, revealing that the lead role of the Avicera, the Harpy Queen, will be played by none other than the famous Magnamarian diva, Alishada. No, Alishanda, excuse me. Allishanda.
ALLISHANDA.
Handa.
Okay.
Yep. Finally, Father Xantus steps up to give a short speech, thanking everyone for coming before declaring the Swallowtail Festival underway. And so now there's numerous games to play and contests to take place in. Sack races, games of hide and seek, weightlifting challenges, balance beam contests, tug of wars, and events and the like. You can also do taste from the various basically there's like a contest where all of the areas shops come with it, or not shops, but restaurants come for food and whatnot. And there's also quite a bit of like swag that people give away for the various other vendors in town, right? So you see a really nice display of exotic weaponry. You see the armorer has got his finest items out. You do notice that the one of you saw like a crossbow in one of the places that was very well on display. That's actually not here, to your surprise. That did not come out, but everything else is kind of on full display. There is a relatively unique so most of those are pretty obvious, in terms of where they come from and what they've seen. There is one table that kind of, stands out from the rest. And it's particularly odd because nobody's actually at this table. Everybody else has a some sort of representative there who is, basically advertising their goods, getting people to, register for the games, things like that. But this one is, and the table, it's really like a full display, has a bunch of items, and they're all made of glass. And these are items that you wouldn't normally think of would be made out of glass. But you've got everything from hammers, swords. There's some flatware. There's all sorts of like utensils, but also things that again you wouldn't necessarily see as being glass, and they're not all utilitarian. There's some really lovely pieces of artwork and stuff like that. Dragon, a sea turtle, statues, things like that. Okay. How would you like to begin?
Could you list the games that are available again?
Sure. The sack race, games of hide and seek, weightlifting challenges, balance beam contest, tug of war events, some dagger throwing. That's about it.
Could I play hide and seek?
Sure can.
Are we here to have fun, or did we have some sort of objective? Sorry, I'm catching up still.
Not really.
Not really. We're just here.
This is a rest
Good
day,
then.
I feel like,
What about
Hanging out,
like,
playing games.
What about
Yep.
the
We're
the
just
goblins? What do we
enjoying
end
the
up doing to
festival before the inevitable invasion by goblins.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Are there prizes associated with these games?
There are.
Mm.
I'm a
It's more about the grand prize that's given away at the end of the festival than about any particular
Ooh.
game. You kind of win points throughout the day.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Is there gambling
Nice.
What is this
available?
grand prize?
Why did you read my mind?
There is no gambling available.
Rip.
Balls.
Hey, you have to play your character in this game, okay? Not in real life.
Can
Okay.
the 2 foot tall pixie play hide and seek, or is that cheating?
Absolutely, you're able to play hide.
I would
Go ahead
like
and roll
to,
stealth for me.
I would like to give Elaine Danny guidance.
Okay,
Oh god.
that would be considered cheating, as
It
no
would be.
magical forms of assistance are allowed.
I would like
I don't think
to-
I need it.
I would like to backtrack.
I would like to do it.
Are
but
these
not
all
be
going
the-
on
Danny-
at the same
Danny
time?
turns down his
or-
offer.
I just say, don't
Okay.
get caught.
Oh god.
I'm like,
Does
no,
anybody-
I don't need it. Believe me.
Does anybody want to try and beat her?
Sure, I'll try.
Oh. I'll just be cheering them along.
It's you two versus all the kids.
I like games.
You would need to roll to try and beat her.
I know. Am I rolling to you or am I rolling?
Yeah, roll to me. That's fine.
This is stealth or perceive.
Stealth.
Perception? Stealth. Alright. Nope, that was the wrong one.
Interesting. Okay.
I would also like to play.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Perfect. Does anybody else want to play? Or just these 1, 2, 3, 4 people?
There were some
No.
other ones like strength stuff, right?
There are, yep. Okay, so the first game of hide and seek begins. And almost immediately everybody loses sight of Queso and Danny. Gib is also not to be seen anywhere. The children, are running around, and there does seem to be a bit of a distraction as Forrest has decided that the best way to hide is to pretend to be a pillar in the middle of the
My guy.
festival. He's also
My God.
You didn't even try.
he also sits in the middle and tries his best to convince anybody who's quote unquote found him that if he can't see them, then they can't see him. And so he just closes his eyes
That bad.
and begins to turn around, trying to avoid the stares of the children.
Is that a persuasion?
Nice.
Persuade people you don't see me.
Must have been one very average roll.
Where did I go?
What must have been an epic roll.
That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Epically average.
He, in his defense, he did try and find a bit of a shadow to blend in. After
I'm
after
just
the-
waving my hand in front of my face like John Cena. You can't see me.
Oh my.
If stealth fails, you can use intimidation as stealth instead. If you scare someone enough, maybe they didn't actually see you after all.
My intimidation's terrible.
he's already frightened these kids within an inch of their life, and so, yeah,
You
maybe
get advantage.
maybe not necessarily.
Oh my
Probably
god.
wants to use in his time.
Scaring the kids in Sandpoint.
So after some time, Gib is finally found. The children are a bit terrified upon finding him, but they soon recognize him as the only hobgoblin in town, and so he is rewarded as a wonderful second place prize. And then, long after the round is declared over, both Danny and Queso are still missing.
They just left. They
Do I
ran
get-
out of town.
Do I get points for finding them?
Sure. Roll that perception up, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Does his perception have to beat our roll?
Yes.
Oh no.
Wow. Wow.
I
He's
mean,
gonna be really disappointed.
he'd have problems beating my roll, probably.
Yeah. So after finally being, convinced by the children that he has in fact been found, and that his rules, while they may apply in the forest, do not apply, here at the Swallowtail Festival. Forest begins to go from tent to tent and display to display, knocking things over, looking underneath tables. He picks
I'm
up a
having
couple.
good old time.
He picks up a couple women and looks underneath them as well, just trying to find.
I mean, I could hide
Danny.
in a skirt. You're not wrong.
Right.
My guy.
Danny and Queso, and is just completely unable to find.
Hi, Cadence. Perfect
Wow.
timing.
Yeah,
I had a
exactly.
good
dude.
roll too. I had a really good
Hey,
roll.
Cadence, want to
You had
play
a good
hide
roll.
and seek?
Sure. Let me unmute myself first.
You're unmuted.
Hello.
Who of us have not been found?
From us, just you and Queso.
Yeah, Forrest really feels. I mean, he does a great job. Literally leaves no stone, table, or woman unturned to try and find these two, and just for the life of him, cannot figure out where they are. He might even hear some giggling occasionally, but definitely doesn't find them. The two of you have heard that Gib has been awarded second place.
Second place, but there's two of us still missing.
There are.
Oh.
Sounds like we got a tie on our hands.
That's exactly what ends up being declared, is that, after another 15 minutes or so, it is declared that it is, in fact, a tie, and that the remaining contestants will split first prize.
Yay!
Did we just
Good
watch
job,
those
Queso.
two just jump off a building?
Well, they can tell me that they can tell you where they were hiding. Queso was holding on to Damage's back this whole time.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
You
just
have
like-
to teach me
Just
that trick.
step out from Damage's shadow, being like, "Hey," or well, Forrest.
Can I have
yeah.
just been in Rakana's bag this whole time? Because I knew no one would be
Oh, okay.
no one,
Brazen
no one,
enough.
Works for me.
no one would want to mess with Rakana, so I was just
Sure.
like, eh.
Okay.
Rakana's
I
just been
should've
holding
hid
your
there.
dog this whole time.
I knew I should have hid in Rakana's bag too.
Yeah.
I reach up with my short, stubby little arm and try and fist bump Queso.
Okay.
I
All right, so
reciprocate.
both of you are awarded 5 points for your finish in the hide and seek contest.
So first place.
I will not be keeping track
10 points.
of that. Nope, first place was 5 points.
But didn't you say they split it between them?
They have a tie for first place.
Mm-hmm.
So they both.
And
got
so
5 points.
Gib receives 3 points for second place. Forrest has negative 5 points for being in last place.
Jesus.
Worth it.
There are singing contests, sack races. We did hide and seek, weightlifting challenges, balance beam contest, tug of war events, and a. You do find that there's over in one of the corners. There's a very rowdy group of incredibly nerdy looking people who are having what appears to be a debate contest as well. So, all sorts of things for all sorts of people.
Nerds.
Can I do, if I wanted to do you said there was like a performance one?
Yes.
Okay. What if I decided I wanted to do a performance where I stand on Batu's back and do a backflip? Would that be acrobatics or would it be performance?
That kind of performance would most certainly be acrobatics.
Dang it. I think I'm gonna go join the debate club then.
Okay.
That would be diplomacy, right?
Or deception, maybe.
Yeah, diplomacy, deception, or intimidation. You could do any of them.
Okay. What is the topic?
Of this debate?
Yes.
It is the history of the old light.
That religion or occultism?
The old light is the runes in the northwestern portion of town.
The one you said some people are convinced was an old war machine?
Actually, there's only one person that's convinced of that, and that's Broddert. Everybody else thinks it's something else. So,
Also,
but
the same ruins we all got that uneasy feeling from.
Well, sure. Yeah, so there's a fair amount of different people talking about the most common argument that's given for it is that it was a lighthouse. That's the argument that most people are making, and people are making it to various degrees.
I'm gonna think about it if someone else wants to.
While
I
Keep
think
doesn't
about it.
want to join that one, but Keep is thinking about if he can do some kind of crafting performance.
Well, Marge, you want to pass up that opportunity?
He's definitely playing this game. He thinks that since he didn't do well in hide and seek, this is gonna be his go time. So he's gonna play.
Oh, he's playing. Oh, okay, so he's decided to step up and play the debate. Okay, do the debate. Fabulous.
Oh God.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Do you have control over his character sheet, or do I need to roll it?
Oh. I do not.
Well, let me change that. 1 second. You should be able to now.
Is she on AFK?
And okay, yeah, I have it.
Is she on AFK? Not that I know of.
No,
I think Damage is the only one AFK.
Oh.
So, Mar, are you able to get it? Yes?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Fabulous. Let's get again, it can be intimidation, deception, or diplomacy.
And do I roll just to you?
Oh, why don't we make this one to the group so that way we can all enjoy it?
It's more fun if we don't.
Take that off.
Oh, it's more fun if you don't? Okay, fine. You can roll it to me.
Oh, I like seeing
I
this.
wanted to see it.
Okay.
Okay,
but
to
you
the
can
group
hear the result.
Right.
Make up your mind. Which one do I do?
We can just go ahead and roll. We'll do this one on the tabletop. So go ahead and roll it on to everybody.
Okay.
Who knows? She might roll a 17 or something.
Where is his? Hold.
Holding.
Where's deception, you guys?
Character tab in the
Under
middle.
skills.
Under skills, it's the 5th down. Deception and then.
I just can't
performance
read.
intimidation.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay. So,
14.
while his head starts a little low, he walks into the debate stage, and most people around him get very quiet, and he begins slowly, but then he kind of picks up one thread and then another thread and another. And since you rolled deception, what is he trying to convince them that that these runes are? Rose. And please do it in a damage voice.
Oh my god.
Wait, what are they actually though? What? Because we know this already.
You no, you don't.
We don't.
Maybe not. Okay.
No,
No, we do
you
not.
have to make something up, and you need to do it in Forrest's voice.
Okay.
No.
Legend says there was a great turtle that passed by these lands, and he crushed the town that was here. Hence, if you ever see a giant turtle, run for your lives.
Okay,
all I got.
excellent.
Very well
Excellent.
done.
Pulling on the
for Flair, he's
yes.
totally starting to strip while talking about the story.
Wow. The mothers in the crowd begin diverting the eyes of their children. And one of the kids says, "Hey, weren't you the man that tried to drown me?" And you realize that the recent trauma of the turtle attack of 2024 has really sunk into the town now at this point. And most people, does anybody else want to enter into this particular debate?
I'm going to should I roll to you or the?
You can roll to me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Mara, I give you control for 5 minutes.
You were here?
Now I'm embarrassed.
Ow! God damn it. Okay. I stand and I say, well, I give you this. The tower, it is stone, yeah? But what lighthouse is stone? Usually they're wood. So I say it was a watchtower. There to keep us safe from the hidden dangers of the deep sea.
Okay. Yeah, obviously your argument falls a little flat. Compared
roll.
to
Image is flexing to all the mamas. They have his full attention.
exactly right. Yeah. So you're currently standing in the
Never
middle
mind, Mara, you did a good job.
of a crowd naked.
Okay.
Well, at least half naked, where the mothers are
What?
trying to. Yeah, this is what's happening. After having tried to convince everybody that the old light was the reason why it's in the state that it's in is because a large turtle, I guess,
Giant turtle.
giant turtle, leaped out of the ocean, I suppose.
It was passing by.
Just passing by. And it was just clumsy. It was like a free willy, and it missed or something, and then it not. But apparently, the trauma from the previous day's events has gotten it to the point where you are currently in the lead. If anybody wants to try and snag victory from the hands of defeat here, that'd be
I'll give
you're
it a
welcome
shot, why
to.
not?
Gip
Okay.
would like to enter.
Okay,
We'll
good,
both go into them.
excellent.
Let's see.
Did I mention there's a great prize for first prize?
Should I do deception or diplomacy?
And,
What's the
Gip,
third
Gip
option?
will,
There was a
will
third
enter
one?
the debate and declare that this is clearly the remains of a dragon roost,
Oh. Okay.
which probably burned down because the dragons couldn't keep their fire.
Oh.
Ooh, I like that story. Although
Yeah.
I do like giant tortoises.
Yeah, so
That's such a conundrum.
the mention of dragons clearly has basically everybody under the age of about 16 is now, nodding their head and like fascinated and rapt. Gib has the rapt attention of certainly the younger crowd and a couple members of the older crowd as well.
And
But they
me.
really, what's that? Right,
me.
and force, yeah, exactly. And so Gib certainly appears to be winning over the crowd at this point.
And can I try again?
No, there's
Aw,
only. Yeah, sorry.
I wanted to rebuttal damage and expand. Damn it! Okay.
Oh, Shion, it's supposed to be to me, but that's all right.
Oh, I see.
So the crowd parts a little bit as the poppet makes its entrance and enters the circle, and it's a very interesting scene to behold, where there's there's quite a decent sized crowd has come over here, partially because of Forrest's exhibitionary tactics, and partially because there's been more participants in the debate this year than there has been in the previous, 10 Swallowtail festivals. So people eagerly listen for what the puppet has to say.
Okay, and I tell them, and out of character, I'm just gonna piggyback off the dragon story.
Oh.
I tell them that what actually happened was that it was a great tower held by an ancient wizard, but he angered the dragons, and they swooped down and destroyed his tower in an act of vengeance against his actions.
You can see that quite a few people appreciate the additional flair that you've been giving, but you're go ahead and roll perception for me.
It's perception, perceive.
Okay. Again, these rolls should be to me, not on the tabletop. But
let me change
you
that.
you do overhear quite a few people deducting points from you because it's very obvious that you were trying to piggyback off the most compelling story thus far, and so it doesn't seem as though you're going to be given full credit for your particular debate performance.
In any case, Gib is nodding respectfully to the puppet story.
Right? Yes, clearly.
Forrest just kind of leans in and goes, "Well, what did the wizard do?"
What did the wizard do, Blondie?
Oh, he was actually an ancient necromancer. And he dug up the remains of a beloved dragon and tried to use it for his own ends. The dragons couldn't handle this, of course. They didn't want to allow this foul necromancer to use the remains of their beloved ancient dragon. They couldn't stand for that.
I wouldn't either.
At the mention of remains and necromancy and all that other kind of stuff, you can clearly see that now you're definitely losing the crowd, considering this is a festival to commemorate a chapel that was built where remains and things like that were found. And so this is you can clearly see that most people would like it to be a festival of fun and not one about death and that kind of stuff. So if there are no other entries at this point, we can definitely award.
Wait, can Rose enter?
Sure. I mean, I don't know. Have you been listening this whole time, or are you still trying to catch up from last week?
I was still in Damage's character, so I was embodying the
I'm just kidding. Of course, Rose can.
Can participate. Slow down.
Right.
Slow down.
Okay, I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna look for the children in the crowd.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna say, actually, what really happened here? A long time ago, there was this huge castle, and two brother and sister lived in this castle, and they got into a bit of an argument. Then they met this witch, and they bet against this witch, saying that the other sibling was wrong. And when the sibling
wrong about
lost,
what?
Wait, what?
You said that the other sibling was wrong. Wrong about what?
They were betting that toward the witch that the other sibling was wrong. Let me finish the story.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hold on. I'm making it up as I go.
Zaven, she's whispering to the children. This is called role playing. But yes, I did just have to turn her up to 150% as well.
Oh, my bad. they were playing a game of. They were playing a relay race, and they were trying to bet who would be faster in winning the race. And this witch came by, and they hold on. They hold on.
You notice a child raising their hand.
Yes.
Has she rolled yet?
Hold on.
No. So you notice a child raising her hand.
Yeah. Yes, my dear child.
Excuse me. Why would they bet on that as opposed to just running the race to see who was faster?
Well, the witch said that she would give a superpower to one of the kids and make them even faster. So it would guarantee them a win if they could guess the number that the witch was trying to get them to guess.
Was it 12?
No, it
bet
was
it was
69, but no
Bet
one.
it was
That's
12.
not important. Okay, so one of the kids won, and they outrun their sibling. But when they turn around, their sibling was gone. And the witch told them, if you ever want to see your sibling again, I need you to leave this place and leave it in ruins. So he had his family destroy this castle just so he could return back to his sibling so that they could be together again.
There's a lot of confused looks amongst the crowd. But let's go ahead and see how magnificent of a job you did. Either confounding people with this intricate web of labyrinth of logic, or perhaps you fell flat on your face and most people like dragons. Oh, well,
Rose telling horror stories to the children.
Rose
Please tell me
enters
she
the
won.
crowd, and she does the right thing and gets down on a knee where she can be face to face with the children. Begins telling this story of witches and betting, I guess, and
Gambling. Yes.
and kind of this amalgamation of like Hansel and Gretel, a little bit of Hansel and Gretel's in there. But essentially, what you see is that she continues to talk and talk and talk until the one child starts nodding their head, and then another, and then another, and then another, and before you know it, you have many children nodding their head. Most of the parents, what's that?
And Forrest.
Right, and
Forrest.
Forrest, right. Forrest nodding.
Number
Forrest
one
was the
fan.
first child to start nodding his head. Oh, God, witch, yes, witch bad. Ruins bad.
Yes.
Moral of the
Emma.
story is gamble.
Yes, gamble.
With superpowers.
Exactly, super. Did the kid get the superpowers? Yeah. And so, after a while, it's very clear that Rose has made it's more about just refusing to stop talking than it is about making a compelling argument at this point. And most people are willing to vote for her just so that way she'll stop talking with this story. So, if there's no other entries at this point,
I, for
then
one, thought it was great.
yes, exactly. Rose is declared the winner at 5 points. Gib is declared second place again at 3 points. And let's see. And Forrest and Blondie both receive 1 point for third place.